Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this Monster Energy DreamHack Studio broadcast of the Nordic Championship 2019 summer, where you saw Ventus Esports fall to the final tribe in game one of match one of the day. Sweden taking an early swing at Denmark in what some would say an absolute domination of a game. So, what do you think? What would you have to say about that one?
Well, I gotta say that definitely I'm sorry, I'm gonna change my microphone just a little bit, and I'll come back.
All right, a little bit technical
Oh,
difficulties again, but
maybe you
it's
can hear me
okay.
better now.
Mm,
Hopefully. Oh, damn it! Sorry. And what about now? Can you hear me now?
hey, there we go. He's back.
Oh,
Welcome
there we
back,
go.
Sam. How you
I
doing,
am
man? How you been?
back. I'm great. I'm great. Technical difficulties are always annoying, but I am doing my best on my end here. So what I gotta say is that definitely the final tribe looked dominating in game one, but the thing about these teams, for most of them, they are very comfortable playing when they're ahead. And most of these teams that are really strong and are used to playing with an advantage, they kind of falter as soon as they fall behind because they always overestimate how strong they are in comparison to their opponents. You see Phil kind of expecting to get caught, and he throws up this unbreakable, and then he instantly goes down because he simply did not expect the amount of damage coming out of the likes of Royal Cannon and Kreisberg. So it's very important for these two teams to just play it passive in the early stages of the game, not allowing the opponents to get this kind of early lead, and then slowly waiting for the other team's mistakes. For a lot of times, you want to kind of wait and you want to set up your own play style, but looking at these teams at this level, most of it comes down to the opponent's mistakes, and that is what TFT did so well. They sort of like prodded and poked and tried these slight engages and just waited for anyone to make a mistake, and when they got that first pick, they simply rolled with it and went in. You could see Raxi holding on to his Cataclysm for a long time in many of those fights because he didn't want to go all in at first.
Yeah, absolutely. Just as you said, they played as we head into picks and bans. By the way, the bans were already completed. Lux, Draven, Yumi taken away, as well as Irelia, Kiana, Zaya. We're not likely to see that, but as you said, it's about prodding and poking until the enemy makes a mistake. And Ventus, they did have Marcoon trying so hard to make something happen down on the bot side. And it was capitalized appropriately by TFT. They had several members available, and that just shows how the synergy and the picks that they chose for themselves in the previous draft. For example, with that Nico came to be another flex pick Karma insta lock here by Ventus though, so they're happy with that flex. Could obviously go to three different lanes, support, mid, top side. I'm not really looking to have or looking to see Karma as a sort of god bro kind of champion, but we're gonna have to see. Aggressive Lee Sin also coming in, and an Olaf. Another flex could be a top jungle also. And the bot lane now seemingly locked in. I like the Nautilus though. You say that it's about capitalizing on the enemy's mistakes, and here you have to you thread the needle or thread the anchor between minions and stuff in the lane if you want to make something happen with the Nautilus. How do you feel about the Nautilus, especially into something like a Morgana lane? Because that's going to be difficult.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for them, but at the same time, I mean, KSI is going to pop that black shield fairly quickly, so they might be able to set it up, just wait for the black shield to go down, and then go for the all-in engage with the Nautilus. But for me, it's not a big problem with Kreisberg and Collide on Nautilus KSI. I think they will be able to make that work no matter what Reason and Phil pick, and I'm not expecting them to snowball their bot lane in the same way they did in game one, but I'm expecting them definitely to have a strong position in the mid game and be able to get that carry position on Kreisberg.
For sure, getting the bot lane rolling is definitely key, as we saw in the previous game. You make a very good point, actually. I didn't even take it into consideration, but Kaiser with the mixed damage can quite easily break that black shield. Obviously, Fitla can perhaps adapt a little bit with an early black shield max. A lot of people don't necessarily expect that. It's something that a lot of Morganas do into lanes like like Janas and stuff who procs it with the Zephyr. But second ban phase is now underway and completed. Lucian Caitlyn removed, and there's that Cassio again. They're really scared of it, it seems, or scared of what the pick means. And Nico, a little bit of an adaptation. It did so much to shut down Godbro in the mid lane, and they're not going to be allowed to play it now.
Absolutely, but this is something that I like to see. Godbro now on his Twisted Faith for the mid lane. So looking at this team composition from Ventus right now, you have this global kind of power with the Twister with both teleport and his Destiny ultimate. You have Karma on teleport as well. You have the Lee Sin. So I am expecting to see much more early game focus in this game from Ventus Esports and trying to be the proactive team this time around, not waiting for their opponents, instead just setting up these global plays.
Absolutely. There is the issue of perhaps not enough mixed damage. Karma isn't the most magic damage heavy champion, provides most utility. Meanwhile, Mordekaiser and Orianna locked in for Final Trial. We'll talk about those in a bit. The reason why I mentioned this is because Godbro tends to play his Twisted Fate with things like a Trinity Force and on hits more so than an AP carry, and there's that vein to round off the composition. So perhaps an 80 on-hit Twisted Fate who's looking to get that immediate impact instead of this AP build who provides a lot of AoE with the wild cards and everything. The Orianna, though, I like that. It's definitely a very neutral pick that can punch Twisted Fate early and can get that early priority to shut down the TF's roams.
Yeah, absolutely. The annoying thing for Godbro, if he goes with a more on-hit kind of build, is that it's going to take a little bit longer for him to clear the waves, and will mean that anytime he's around, what you want to do with Twisted Faith when you go AP is you want to just clear the wave quickly, you want to max that Q, and then you want to roam and rotate and not lose that much of a mid lane priority. Versus this Orianna, if you go on-hit, you're going to get shoved under your turret quite quickly and take a little bit of harass and have an overall harder time to be able to make something happen around the map, while your Orianna, the opponent's Orianna, is just pushing down your turret. The quick change at the end, though, changed to cleanse on Royal Cannon's Orianna instead of the teleport. So there's a lot of global power coming in from Ventus Esports. And on the other side, you can see TFT kind of going a little bit more for the team fights and the solo power instead.
Yeah, the cleanse is for sure a very good pickup there. I like that a lot. With that the gold card and with the bindings and the karma roots, there's a lot of CC to be put down here. And we are heading into game. Hopefully, not a pause this time. We seem to be free from issues this time, lads. So let's head straight into it. So, how do you think the junglers are gonna match up this time? Last time we saw a similar top start, transitioning into Marcoon focusing heavily down bot, with Roxy going for more of a farming kind of style. What do you think they're going to do this game?
Well, considering that it was so much top lane action, I wouldn't be surprised if it was unconventionally a little bit more top lane focus for this game. I know that top lane is kind of considered an island on this patch and for quite a long time now. But at the same time, looking at Wazer and how much Risen were facing off against each other and how much just these slight ganks actually decided the power up top lane and how Waze was able to finally get that solo kill, I wouldn't be surprised if they focused a little bit more on this for this game. Now we have another pause. Not quite sure what is going on, and we'll see if we get some information soon.
Something is wrong is all we have to say. Hopefully it's resolved in a few moments, as you say. But yeah, it is a repeat matchup up top lane, and I would like them to focus more up top. Yes, Wazer got that solo kill, but it took a lot of time and a lot of effort to grind out that kill onto Risen. But with a little bit of more early game top lane focus, perhaps they can sway it earlier.
And you gotta say also that Marcoon was up top lane much more than Raxi was. So even on top of that, Wazer was able to get that solo kill finally versus this Karma. But yeah, Raisin still wanted to go for Karma yet again.
Absolutely. That very very comfortable in that match. You saw Risen go for the Ardent Sensor into Athene's combination. The amount of utility, the amount of shielding and healing that you provide for your entire team is spectacular. Especially when you're running a roster of picks that doesn't have a clear cut tanking front line. Just utilizing those shielding is sort of like going full Locket in TFT, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually haven't tried that, so I can't speak from experience, but I will believe you when you say it.
Yeah, for sure. Trust me, I've played a lot of that. But into the game now, we see both junglers actually starting bot side this game. Okay, so the point that you made about top, perhaps we get to see that come into fruition. Marcoon is clearing slightly faster than his Raxi counterpart, and that might as well. Actually, with something that we didn't talk about, that's a top side vein. It appears. They've sent the Vayne topside. I'm running Mordekaiser down bot, are they? No, wait, hang on. That's Karma bot lane.
It's the Karma bot lane. So we didn't mention this earlier, but this is an interesting situation there. Collide, though, with the long-range hook, is able to get quite a bit of damage onto Risen. But yeah, definitely something that we need to talk about is the Raisin up top lane on his Vayne versus Waster. A bit of a curveball coming out from Ventus, but to no one's surprise that Ventus goes with something completely unconventional.
Yeah, absolutely. They are no strangers to throwing weird stuff into the faces of your opponents. And I do like the adaptation of throwing the Vayne up into the top side against a Mordecai. So you can poke and punish early with auto attacks, and when you get banished to the Shadow Realm, you can banish Mordecai straight ahead out of it and kill him off, because the dueling potential of this pick is incredible. Look at the top side duo roam into the blue buff.
Yeah, speaking of topside and having that advantage that Raisin was able to get with his Vayne, is able to secure a double buff now, a triple buff for Marcoon.
Fantastic. The timing of pushing in with the Vayne, creating that massive wave that Wazer doesn't really want to leave, and then immediately going in for the invade. The timing's spectacular. Hook lands again by Collide, however, and stun onto Fiddle. Root in response, however, and this is full out all in here. Flash forward by Risen, and that's the solo kill for Vitality's Karma. And now Nautilus is 1v2ing. Can he kill up Risen with his auto attacks though? He's
Collide has 0 mana.
Yeah, he's rocking the auto attacks right now. Surely he can't pull this one off.
It was a little bit close, but very well played by Ventus Esports bot lane. So a really strong play coming out on the bot lane. And this is what I'm talking about. You can't really tell anything just from one game with these teams, because they're so strong at being aggressive, playing from an advantage situation, and just getting this advantage, that having this unconventional bot lane with the Karma Morgana, having the Vayne up top lane as sort of throwing TFTs out of their comfort zone just a little bit. You see how much they were able to gain from that.
You made a point earlier about playing passive, sitting back a little bit, and just allowing the game to play out. Putting the game in a position where your opponents don't know or aren't comfortable with how it is playing out purely because of your lane swaps is a different type of strategy that we're happy to see Ventus pull it off, because they're known for this, just as you say. Beautiful Black Shield.
Absolutely. Back shield is there, but the flash moving forward now, catching Fiddle. Fiddle not having his flash means it's an easy pickup for Raxi, who knows this and rotates bot lane immediately. Those Seed Godbros and Marcoon are kind of moving towards bot lane, might be looking for Raxi.
The duo runs are all over the place, and do you see Godbrew and Marcoon, as you're saying, now setting up a little bit of ward coverage around the dragon? A little bit, I say. They've got the Scuttle Crab on 2 wards there. However, Raxi will clear out some of it with that vision plant, and now goes for an invade into Marcoon.
This is very
dangerous. What do you think wins this 1v1?
Yeah, I think Marcoon should have to back out from this, but here's the difference, that Fiddle is there, there's no ultimate on Raxi, and here goes the big difference, Godbro with his Destiny. Level 4 Olaf has nowhere to run, and that is an invade where you do not want to show yourself. Raxi making a huge mistake right there.
For sure.
I gotta say, the second Raxi showed himself in that invade was the same second that he died. Godbro has his ultimate up. Raxi should know that it's there, and he simply cannot be in that position without having at least Royal Cannon beside him. But also, Fiddle had just recalled, so they should have known that Fiddle was around as well.
Absolutely, and another thing is that Raxi was still level 4 against Marcoon's level 5 Lee Sin, so that early level in these jungle trades plays a lot of importance into this early game. Being 15 CS down, yes, you have that kill on your scoreboard, and you complement the gold a little bit, but that's still a beautiful hook. Once again, lands onto Fiddle, and the root in response, but nothing more comes out of it. Watch. Midside, Godbro's caught out, flash forward by Royal Cannon, has the ultimate available, uses it. Godbro obviously did not have resistance earlier, and that's a beautiful kill going over to Royal Cannon, capitalizing onto Ventus's own choices.
Yeah, Godbro going with this on-hit build you're talking about, and sort of being shoved in, kind of moving into his jungle, and instantly gets caught out by Raxi and Royal Cannon. Not having his flash and not respecting his opponent means that this Cloud Dragon is going to get right into the hands of TFT, and Raxi will be very happy having that extra mobility.
Do you think it matters a lot? A lot of people argue that another hook lands, but don't think any more is going to come from it. A lot of people argue that Air Dragon is one of the weaker ones. It's a point that's repeated over and over in many of these kind of broadcasts. But with the Olaf, with the Nautilus picks, do you think they'll be able to utilize this Air Dragon well, or will it not matter?
I think definitely it's really strong for them in this case. Obviously, you would rather want to have a Mountain Dragon at this point, or perhaps even an Ocean Dragon this early into the game, but just having that extra mobility can actually be much stronger than a lot of people expect when you're having this team that relies so much on mobility. You have the Mordekaiser, you have the Olaf, and you have the Nautilus that need to engage. If you not in a position where to hit that hook, or if you're in a position where you hit the hook and the rest of the team can't follow quickly enough, yeah, I think definitely it's strong to have a Mountain Dragon, Cloud Dragon, I mean.
Yeah, for sure. Mountain Dragon would make a lot of impact, though, as you said. So Marcoon, we see Marcoon once again hovering top, wants to enable this top lane vein to get more plates. And
we haven't talked too much. We haven't talked too much about this top lane vein that is completely decimating Waysor. You see 77 CS to 38. There's a huge CS difference going on as well. And also with that early blue buff denial on Raxi and Marcoon just having a good roam and control of the map, he's quite far ahead in CS as well.
Yeah, you saw Waysor try to banish Reja again up top, but he can't manage. He's not strong enough. And when a Mordekaiser isn't strong enough, how much can he really do? You can use the banishing to remove someone from the fight, a priority target, and maybe sacrifice yourself for the greater good, as the TFT seem to be all about. But apart from that, not so much.
See now in the mid lane. 3-man push coming up.
But the wave clear is there. The TF, the on-hit TF with the AD. You mentioned this earlier also. It doesn't necessarily clear waves the best or the fastest, and Orianna is pushing quite nicely into him, but he defends fairly decently, especially with the Morgana.
Absolutely. My problem going with TF, definitely the damage is there going on the Trinity Force build, but Destiny is the big issue.
Yeah, for sure, Destiny comes in, but Ventus are right around, or I should say, TFT are right around the corner with their bot lane, and a Royal Cannon ready to go. And with that ultimate, Godbro ulting in, it frees up the mid side, and Royal Cannon will be able to pick up some plates of 10.
Yeah, here it is, Royal Cannon getting 2 plays in mid lane. That solo gold equals about 320 gold. So that is a lot of extra in the pocket. Instant flash coming out from Fiddle. You see an axe attempt as well by Raxi. So a lot of focus down again. The hook lands.
But who's catching who? Here comes the ultimate from Kaiser. Crisper goes in, forces the option onto Fiddle. Marcoon is here with the beautiful Lee Sin ultimate. Several members under tower. That's 2 kills now gone. One for each team. There's a gold curve coming in onto Chrisberg again. Second kill of the game for Ventus. They're so fast with their roams. The global pressure of this Twisted Fate is nuts. And Reja is 1v1ing Wazer again. Who's banishing who, really? But, as I said, the Wazer doesn't really have the damage to kill off Reja. Reja doesn't have the damage to pull through Wazer's sustain.
No, absolutely. It's a little bit of a funny situation up top lane, but I gotta say down bot lane, we're seeing a complete reverse situation of what happened in game 1, and now instead it's TFT that are overextending bot lane and getting completely punished for it. And Godbro, even without Destiny available, still able to rotate down there earlier than Royal Cannon due to his teleport, and still able to make so much happen together with Marcoon. And you gotta get, again, a little bit of a shout out to that beautiful kick Marcoon was able to get.
Yeah, that was the perfect setup down in the bottom tower there. The perfect peel, right in time for Fiddle's stopwatch to expire also. So beautifully synergized there. I'd love to hear the comps and just hear them line that one up perfectly. Rift Herald goes over to the final tribe, and you were a little bit unhappy last game about how late they used it. Turret plates are still available. Do you think they're gonna go for an early play here? There it is.
I really hope so. I really hope so. And here it is. There comes the Rift Herald up top lane. It's going to be difficult for a reason to be solo defending this. Shelly has arrived. It's going to be able to get a few of these turret plates, especially with the help of Araxia on the side. No real response right here. Godbro still doesn't have his ultimate, so looks like Shelly is simply going to get one plating and then go down. Could have been used in a better situation.
Finds Roxy, Death Charge peels, but I think Collide's still going to go down here. This chain CC is just too much. The Morgana into Karma into that Twisted Fate stun. It's too much for anyone to really handle. Collide tries to peel for his team, but dies.
Game 2, making Collide look like Game 1 Fiddle. Collide getting caught out. It was kind of overestimating how tanky he is, and simply gets caught and bursted. In the mid lane, Godbro now has lost those 2 platings, but nothing more. Has his Trinity Force, has the 2 kills. The Godbro is really strong right now. Could be looking to make a play somewhere soon. Up top lane, the reason almost go down to Kreisberg. One more attack should have done the job, but no summoner spells for Kreisberg means that Risen simply will have to walk away, but not dying today.
Yeah, he's fine for sure. I do like the Collide. Yes, he's not tanky enough, but he has started to pick up these this magic resist and the Merc Treads on his support, deprioritizing the mobility of mobility boots and stuff, and adapting a little bit. There's so much CC on Ventus, but the question is just how much teamfight potential and late game impact will they have? Because I feel like this is an early and a mid game kind of team. They do not scale too well into TFT's drafts, I think.
I think both of these teams have the mid-game spike kind of on a lot of their champions, but the big difference, of course, being the Orianna and Mordekaiser being able to go for the late game, but Olaf, Kaisa, and Nautilus will be strongest in the mid-game. My big concern right now is how much they can make happen with Godbro's Twisted Faith and the lead that he has right now, because what I like to see on a Twisted Faith is that you really use your ultimate and you make sure that having this global kind of pressure is put to use early, and that you make sure that the enemy team knows that they always have to kind of play around your TF being able to be almost anywhere at any point.
Yeah, TFT are for sure getting conditioned into believing exactly that. Godbro has not shown any hesitation in using that ultimate, even when it's unlikely to work out for him, even when it's just Roxy being called out, who can obviously Ragnarok out of any pressure. He's going for it. So it's all about the mindset. Meanwhile, Depth Charge up top lane forces Destiny once again, just as we spoke about it. Stun comes in onto Kreisberg, and that's the chain CC that we saw. The trio of the Morgana, Karma, Twisted Fate is just nuts, and no one can really get away from it. And there's the Merc Treads. As I say, no one can get away from it. The Merc Treads of Collide saves his life, but he couldn't save the life of his ADC.
No one but Collide can get away from it. No, but Collide played that super well, and a little bit of luck. I'm not quite sure if he knew that his CD on the dredge line is just there in time to be able to counteract the CD of the gold card for Twisted Fate. But it was indeed, so he was just barely able to get away from there. And also Phil being a little bit too overeager, using his Dark Binding, missing both times in those fights. Still able to get Kreisberg. Kreisberg has taken quite a bit of damage this game. You have to compare him sort of, I guess, to Reason's Vayne, looking at these two, and they're in a fairly equal footing. Same goes for Risen and Wazor.
Absolutely, and while all this is going on, we do see that bot lane turret going down, finally, for as a result of Rage's split pushing. This Vayne has been left alone for quite some time, firing up some crucial items here. How's that Blade of the Rune King completed with that recurve bow, possibly going into a Ginsters, which was obviously nerfed a couple of patches ago. Big shockwave, but forces the flash onto Godbro. He flashed away, does not connect. Yeah.
Forcing that flash on Godbro is actually quite big, since Twisted Faith is quite immobile if you catch him off guard. So having this flash on him will mean that they can be much more aggressive. And now is Reason trying to go for an aggressive play. The Golden Olaf will survive.
Finds the kill. Oh, Wazor takes in also, and it's a 1-for-1 so far. Knockups aplenty. Godbro's trying to get out, and there's that Vayne finally joining the fray. Flash forward by Fiddle, but not. What? Did that root really land? That's,
Computer says yes. That's root. Yes. I think definitely. I don't think that should have hit, but Morgana is Morgana, and her roots hit whatever she wants, basically. You can call it, but at the same time, you can't stop it, you can't deny it. That hit, and that was a kill. Now for the mid lane turret. The clear from Royal Cannon makes it quite difficult, but still, with the on-hit damage, TF, and the Vayne attack speed, that turret goes down quickly.
Man, I swear to you, Dark Bindings have a mind of their own. They just do whatever. It's like freaking Mundo. They go where they please, and that one connecting is for sure a surprise. But yeah, as you say, did connect, forces these kills, and this time Ventus, they're looking quite strong, establishing themselves with a 4,500 gold lead, a similar number, actually the exact same number of the same gold amount that we saw the final tribe be ahead of at approximately the same stage of the game. It's as if the roles are reversed.
Yeah, absolutely. These roles are definitely reversed, and Ventus Esports looking a little bit more like the team we're expecting them to be. My concern, though, with Ventus Esports now is that they need to make even more happen with this. They have a huge lead right now, and looking at Reason down bot lane, will he be able to do this? Yes, he is, with the help of his trusted teammate.
Reason did engage. Regison?
I'm calling it Raisin right now because Regison is just too much.
Too much. Beautiful Dark Binding negates a mid lane fight here, but however, Kreisberg does go down regardless. No, I'm sorry. Risen goes down regardless. Kreisberg picks up the kill. Yeah, down both side. I think it was actually Regison who engaged onto Wazor and effectively 1v2'd by choice.
Yeah, absolutely. So he did. I don't think he knew that Raxi was there at that point, but since since Vayne is so strong with mobility versus these kind of immobile champions, it wasn't that big of a problem. Maybe if Raxi had gone something like Ghost or something, that might have made it a little bit more different, but together with the help from the redemption from Fiddle, that was no problem at all for Raisin to 1 versus 2, which means that he is now that kind of split pusher that you'll have so much trouble handling. You can't even 1 versus 2 him. You sort of need to send Royal Cannon, who doesn't have a teleport, or you sort of need to catch him off guard with Raxi and Wazor, somehow like bush hiding and ambushing him.
And it's interesting listening to you talk about this, because you do speak about Regison's Vayne as a split pusher, which leaves the rest of the team to handle their own deals. Yes, you have Godbro who can ult a little bit everywhere and capitalize on whatever he needs to, but as a 4-man unit, this team, I don't think they can really fight. Where's the damage?
I don't think they need to fight. They can simply wave clear and just hold on. The big problem right now for them is that I'm not sure if they will be able to handle this dragon. Although I don't think it's that much of an issue for them losing this dragon right now, as long as they're able to make something happen in the next minute.
Ooh, the dredge line actually hits, but Marcoon's ultimate forces Collide to rejoin his team, but a shockwave comes in. That's how you use the banishing to the Shadow Realm. You escape, all of the damage comes in, and 1-for-1 after that. That's a gorgeous use of the Death Realm by Wazor to save his own life, escaping all of that damage.
Yeah, Wazor just barely able to get out of that situation. Still a 2-for-1 Dragon, Infernal Dragon getting into the hands of TFT and showing just how difficult it is to go for a big team fight situation now for Ventus. Oh, look at this! It's overextending!
Yep, Chrisberg finds the kill, but meanwhile, it's a 1-for-1 still. Or, yeah, it's 1-for-1 still, as Royal Cannon also goes down to Risen. So many kills all over the place. TFT now forced to disengage and reset the momentum just a little bit.
A chaotic game indeed. What I would like to see is Godbro and Raisin sort of just split push, go for a 1-3-1, and use Godbro's ability to rotate the map, or rather 1-4 maybe, and Godbro just sticking with his team, wave clearing, and anytime he sees someone sort of splitting off to try to handle Raisin, that's when Godbro picks off, uses his ultimate to join the fray and go for a strong 2 versus 2.
Absolutely. And we talked a little bit about how these teams are so strong when ahead, but when behind, it can be an entirely different story. The fact that TFT are so fast to pull the trigger, yes, you have all of the potential answers from Ventus, but they're still trying to look for things ways back into the game, scraping a potential comeback, seemingly from nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. I am very impressed with the way that TFT have been able to play this game. Playing from behind, only getting these sort of secure, like 40-60 fights, and they kind of just go for them. They know when they want to try, they know when they just want to back out of it, and able to secure both Rift Herald and the Infernal Dragon this game, although they have been behind from, I think, 7 minutes in, just shows how well coordinated they are.
Another fight down bot, Wazor versus Regison. It's now starting to become pretty close. Wazor has the damage to solo kill. Meanwhile, up on the top side, Wazor still has TP available. Remember, comes to Destiny. Chrisberg actually goes in here. Gold card. There, Wazor's trying to rejoin his team, but he's so far away. Flash forward by Risen. Does not have quite enough damage to kill anyone off, but you don't need to kill people off if you force them away, because you've lost your vein. What you're playing for after that is damage control.
Yeah, absolutely. A really strong poking situation there, but 4 flashes used in that fight, only to force your opponents to recall, then allowing them to recall, then setting up Baron, allowing them to recall right now. Not quite sure if they're able to do this. Here comes the teleport. Raisin is the one who's able to get this Baron quickly, but Risen is on a killing spree.
What a kill! He actually finds that one. I don't think Ventus can stop this. What do you think, man?
No, they're gonna go for it. They're going for it indeed. Yeah. No
Wazor
here.
rooted up.
Baron, definitely. Ventus, that's the Baron. Now the fight.
The Baron is secured indeed. Multiple kills across the board, 2 after each other. Marcoon with a quick resonating strike there to finish off the third one. Now only Chrisberg stands in the way of Ventus's mid lane siege. Ventus, they want to equalize. They want to show why Denmark can go toe-to-toe versus this top Swedish team as they siege the mid inhibitor turret.
Huge power play by Ventus Esports, finally putting in that higher gear, going for the big fight, and I sort of didn't believe in it for a little bit, since I thought that they didn't stop the recalls and didn't have enough vision to stop the recalls of TFT, and sort of, I thought they were going to get into a team fight situation around Baron, but with TFTs having a little bit of a slow recall, allowing Raisin to get in with the teleport, not having vision around Baron, made it easy for Ventus to secure that high priority objective, while TFT sort of just hovering around, not quite sure what to do, and in the end got picked off one by one.
Now we see a little bit of a switch of focus. There's the Destiny again, purely to scout and reposition. Dragon is started. Is it going to be a fight? So many routes available. There comes Dark Binding once again. Dragon is stolen, in fact, by Marcoon. There's the shockwave. It lands onto 2, but it's still a 2 for 2. Heading into a 3 for 2 kill score in favor of TFT now. They're finding their way back here and are chasing Godbro, but I don't think he's going to be able to find himself with the gray screen.
I really don't think that Ventus needed to go for that fight. Sure, you can allow Marcoon to just jump in and have the rest of your team being a little bit of a distraction on the side, but allowing yourself to get caught going for that big fight, then stealing Dragon, then sort of realizing that, okay, so we can't really have this fight. The Kai'Sa and the Orianna and the Mordekaiser are all too strong in a big 5 versus 5 situation. You just want to keep playing this prodding and poking style that they have, get your opponents to make the mistakes, get these picks off 1 versus 1, and then go for the objectives. Going for this fight, even with Baron buff, I believe they overestimated how strong they are in this situation.
Yeah, I have to say, it's remarkable how much of an impact Wazer has on this Mordekaiser. I am flabbergasted by that. That he had such a rough laning phase. Had to lane against this Vayne. I was completely shut down. Still manages to have heavy impact in these fights and in the 1v1s. Amazing.
Yeah, it shows how good Wazer is as a player. Being this far behind in CS, having this terrible laning situation, and still somehow getting out on top and having a similar amount of priority on the map in comparison to your opponent's Vayne, that is something that most players cannot pull off. But I gotta give it to Regisen, or however that name is supposed to be pronounced. I'm not quite sure, to be honest. I really gotta give it to both of those players. These top laners are absolutely amazing. Or bot laner, I would say, or top laner. It's difficult to say, actually.
These flex rollers, flex mains, a little bit of a fill situation coming in here. But yeah, there comes Destiny actually used to...
Yeah, I really like to see that Destiny used. Just Godbro checking to see where the enemy team is, making sure that he can finish that turret, and then using it to dash out, making sure that he is nowhere near to get caught out. Means that he can split push this. Even now, looking at the enemy team, knowing that there are 3 bot lane, and Godbro can just keep pushing this.
Yep, a repeat Godbro performance from game 1. He was on that Corki pushing top, and now he's on the Twisted Fate pushing top as the red side now, and he's steadily approaching that top lane inhibitor turret, and Ventus should be able to transition nicely. Obviously both teams do have that air dragon, but while the final tribe are busy defending, Ventus can use that air dragon movement speed to rotate wherever they're needed and play TFT by the book. But,
yeah, it's a bit scary though. It's a little bit scary because one big engage, someone getting caught out of position can mean that TFT can just force a big fight and get out with their win condition, which is to force these big fights and just capitalize on them. It's much more difficult to play this sort of prodding 1-3-1 team composition that Ventus are going for, but I really have to give it to Godbro, as he has been the main trigger for these big plays on Ventus Esports side that allow them to go for objectives like Baron, like Dragon, like getting all of these turrets. A huge difference as well in playstyle from Godbro, as the kind of player that I saw last time in a Nordic tournament like this in Ragnarok about 2-3 years ago, where he was this 1 versus 1 monster that everyone knew that playing versus Godbro in a lane meant that you had to stay far away from any kind of trading, as he was able to just pick up solo kills everywhere. Now instead of solo kills, you see him rotating the map, you see him opening it up for his team and being this huge team player instead, something that I would never have expected a couple of years ago.
Yeah, playing this TF as a team player indeed. Even his build just screams. Yes, you have the Trinity Force, but it is more of a utility focused build. Well,
look at him right now.
Yeah, he's in there. He's up pushing top in inhib, and TFT are trying to answer by fighting mid. There's the hook once again. surely Phil goes down. Inhibitors being pushed. There's a 1v1 going on down bot lane, but TFT have the option to rush for Baron. Marcoon is there for the steal attempt though. There's Destiny once again to check for the vision. He can rejoin the team. Are they going to go for it? Instead, he goes for mid turret, or mid inhib, I should say.
Marcoon is going to try to steal it.
He's going to try to steal. Can he do it? He can dash. There it is. Oh, he did not quite time it. Flashes away. He does not pay for it with his life, but that's surely going to be 2 inhibitors. There's the Shadow Realm, the Death Realm, I should say. Summoned once again. Zonius comes in. I don't know. Can he finish him off? Yeah, Garber doesn't have any mana. Doesn't have flash, or did have flash, but does not want to use it, I suppose, and dies for his sins. 2 inhibs for Ventus Esports.
2 inhibs at the same time as the Baron goes down means that this should be kind of a stalemate. The Baron empowered minions will help defending the super minions coming in at the same time as your team will rotate to defend the bot lane turret. But just having these 2 open inhibitors for after the Baron buff has timed out, after the inhibitors have a respawn, will make it so much easier for Godbro to go for a sort of a backdoor invade, or for his team to simply be able to finish as soon as they get one of those picks that they're looking for. So it's a little bit of a stalemate. Really enjoy seeing the tactical decision making from Ventus, going for the Baron steal and allowing Godbro to just keep pushing the inhibitors. Not quite sure though about Phil getting caught like he was, not quite sure about the follow-up, as Risen almost got caught as well. So a little bit sloppy from Ventus, but still getting out in a good situation, I think.
Absolutely, yeah, questionable they were getting caught, but you have to give it to TFT. They are relentless when they pull their trigger. When they want to kill someone, they will go for it until the ends of the earth, it seems, and are now pushing the mid side. Yes, you said the Baron will help deep push, but it doesn't help if no one's in the lane. 4-man grouping mid.
The problem though here is that these Baron empowered minions have so much magic resist that makes it so much more difficult for Reason, Fiddle and Godbro to defend this. The good thing about their team composition is that Reason and Fiddle can just put down this big AoE damage to clear these minion waves, to deep push it all the time, but that doesn't work when you're facing Baron empowered minions. So this inhibitor will go down. I don't think Ventus will want to fight this. Instead, just allowing it. Still, that's a 1 inhibitor down. Your enemies has 2, and they're just gonna back up.
Destiny is used, however. He could go for some sort of flank. Yeah,
They're
there it is, coming in from the left side. Gets that gold card, puts it onto Orion, gets that flash off of Royal Cannon, still has flash, or gets that cleanse, I'm sorry. Still has that flash available also, but I mean, a Destiny for a cleanse, I suppose that's exactly what you would want with all of the CC that's available for Ventus.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. The Destiny will be up in only 84 seconds, while the Cleanse takes 210, so definitely a good trade for Godbro. I don't think he really wanted to fight that one. They wanted to delay the recall. They wanted to maybe force Wazer, or try to bait him to use teleport and then disengage from that, as you can do that with the Karma, with the Morgana. You have quite a good disengage situation. Still, Ventus playing this smart, but looking just at goal difference, and especially looking at the difference in team composition, we talked about it earlier, the late game is stronger for the Final Tribe. I believe the Final Tribe are in a good position still. They really want to go for this, and it might be a base race here. I'm not quite sure what they're going to do with this. Baron Empowered recall will be quick. You see the recalls in the mid lane. Godbro kind of want to go for it, doesn't have the ultimate just yet, can't speak out for it.
Yeah, there is definitely some sort of base race going on, but it's a 4 versus 2 base race here. If TFT decides to pursue this, they can pull it off, I think, but instead they're deciding to disengage. Collide.
If Collide can land a hook,
yeah, then absolutely. If you can get a hook there to start off a 4 versus 3 scenario, there's Destiny once again, but watch the base of TFT.
The delays are huge, the 2 versus 1 situation, and now instead the desperation move by Roxy, moving in, chasing down Fiddle. Fiddle uses his ultimate, not going to save him. There's the flash coming in, Marcoon chasing it down as well.
Yeah, there is that 1-for-1 going in. Dredgeline connects, but there's still a 2-man push going down bot lane. There is that Nola's ultimate. Forces the GA, but as you said, they're just buying time for this duo. But Wazer is surely going to go down. Royal Canine goes down. The inhibitor, or the Nexus, is open now. Redstone and Godbro. Yeah, it's gonna be a
Look at
2
Wazer.
versus 3. They're going for it though. But Gokubo takes so much damage. It's a
Raisin,
1-for-1 at the Nexus. Hook connects. And TFT, they managed to defend their base until the very end, man. Wow.
That was absolutely huge. That team fight was about to change everything, and Ventus Esports with that huge clutch play, trying to delay the recalls, and just barely Kreisberg is able to get out and recall and stop that from happening. If Kreisberg had not been there, that would have been GG. And there were so many things that Phil using his redemption, going in with his ultimate, chasing down Raxi turning it around again, and Royal Canning being there just in time to stop Marcoon. Also Marcoon having that Guardian Angel as well, just delaying everything for the longest time.
This 10-4-3 Kaiser, the fact that it was Kreisberg who was there defending against Godbro and Regison was so important. Kreisberg has gone not unnoticed, but he has been this steady, secure snowballing carry for TFT that's kept them in the game for quite some time now. And they pulled up and miraculous defend was fantastic.
I gotta say,
Dragon,
Kreisberg is probably one of the absolutely best marksmen that we have ever had in this tournament. He's always the one that manages to pop off. Now we'll see the Baron trade for the Elder Dragon. I think actually Elder Dragon right now on the final tribe will be stronger than the Baron buff on Ventus Esports, because Ventus are sort of falling behind. They want to split push, which this Baron helps them. They got exactly what they wanted, but same comes for TFT, and TFT has 2 open inhibitors. And as we were talking about earlier, yes, Baron buff and being able to split push, it's really strong. Ventus has been able to almost make it into a win, but right now in this situation with the team fight power, one mistake versus the final tribe will mean the game is over. Anyone who gets caught now, 38 minutes into the game on the side of Ventus Esports, will mean the game is done.
Speak about getting caught.
Yeah, getting caught. That is the
1v1 or 1v2 is the bot lane duo of TFT, but I mean, he bit off way more than he can chew, but there's that Destiny to try to get some top lane action going, but I don't think they're going to be able to do much at all. The decision making from Ray.
This is huge. This is huge. Raisin going in there without using the Destiny first to make sure to check that Kreisberg was solo right there, and also Collide being the one in his 1 versus 2, having that point and click CC meant that there was no way that Racing could have been able to outplay that situation. Now not having their main carry, open inhibitor, I'm not sure if they can hold this.
It's questionable for sure. A mid lane inhib goes on. That's now 2 inhibitors. As the top lane inhibitors respawned for TFT. They are choosing to go back, however. No neutral objective to take, so they will instead try to perhaps get some ward coverage of the right side of the map to enable a bot lane push with perhaps Wazor in a side lane.
Yeah, this is the Godbro power. Godbro having his teleport, having his ultimate means that Wazor had to stick around inside the base and wait for him in case something happened. It means the rest of the team will simply be happy to get that inhibitor and back out and reset this fight yet again. So Racing getting caught out in that bot lane, not as terrible as it could have been.
We even see the pink ward right in front of the Nexus for the final tribe, just to ensure that they have something to teleport to if they need. So your point about Godbro's threat is definitely valid, and they're choosing to go mid with 4 people. The final tribe looking for that potential top inhib. There's TP coming in from Godbro. He's gonna use that Destiny to get the top lane inhib. Oh, I adore watching this guy. Beautiful kick by Marcoon. Wait, but there's Wazor. Regis is here also. They were prepared for this.
Double backdoor, look at this!
They're going to be able to exit, man. Regison, he's finishing it off. There's a team fight going on, but there it is! Ventus Esports. They strike back in game 2 and tie the series.
Holy God, bro. Able to get in there, get that ward down, allowing the Raised to teleport straight into the enemy base, knowing that Wazer was the only one who could be there and he couldn't handle the 1 versus 2 situation. A 200 IQ play by Ventus is tying this series up 1-1.
Yeah, beautiful. It's so fun watching the creativeness here. They find these small windows. I mean, the TF window was very obvious, right? But to make sure that the Vayne was out of vision and then place that teleport ward, enabling the Vayne to get in as the team is fighting a fight in the mid side. It's just the amount of synergy and communication just shows how well versed Ventus is as a team, for sure. They're looking good.
Absolutely. I was very impressed the way Ventus played this game. It's a completely different team from what I have seen earlier. As an organization, they've been in the top teams. They were winning this tournament, but playing in this way, having this calculating, prodding play style, waiting for your opponents to make that mistake, and then finally putting themselves in a checkmate situation where the opponents can't really do anything to stop this from happening, right? I mean, you need to have your Mordecai Surge stay back to handle the Twisted Faith. That's a given. But since you decided to go with the Cleanse mid lane instead of the Teleport mid lane, your Orianna is sort of stuck. You can't just have her chilling in base because you can't have a 3-man cell push out and risk getting caught out. But at the same time, if you move out as a 4-man cell, having your Teleport player being on standby, that just allows the enemy to go, okay, so we're going to teleport in, we're going to 2 versus 1 you, and Mordekaiser does not do well into a 2 versus 1, and we're just going to finish this in this Nexus. All on the shoulders of God, bro, being able to clear these inhibitors multiple times, being able to clear those turrets, and just setting up for his team to do this. And the trust that they put in him to just risk their lives, to use every single ability to stop the opponents from recalling. That's a beautiful camaraderie and teamwork.
Yeah, they had a chokehold of the game for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be heading to into a short break here, a couple of ads for you guys. But when we come back, we'll bring you the final game between the final tribe and Ventus. Don't go anywhere.